Down for the Count with Brandon Medina and Dan Cialana.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. ESPN San Antonio proudly brings to you the best show in the world. This is Down for the Count, and I'm your man, Brandon Big Papi Medina. That is the dangerous one, Mr. Dangerous Dan Cialana. We are here to talk some wrestling on this Thursday afternoon.
Definitely took a couple weeks off because I was in California and I had some time to get some RVD energy with some local agriculture. So feeling good. Feeling good.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, kind of old school. It's a call back to 1994, Dan. But we're here. We are sober today, apparently.
Barely
sober. And we may be a little less than sober a week from now. Actually, about 6 days from now, July 14th, AEW returns to Texas. Brandon, how excited are you about seeing a big wrestling show in AEW?
I think I am as excited as can be, especially after watching Dynamite yesterday. What an incredible show that was. We have a new superstar that's not too new to you and I, not too new to the wrestling world, but Mr. Malachi Black, also known as Aleister Black, also known as Tommy N, aka all these names. But he is now at AEW. Huge move. It sets in motion this excitement leading up to not only a show in Cedar Park there by Austin, but also the first day of Fyter Fest, which is going to be incredible. I saw there's going to be a coffin match that was just announced. It's going to be an awesome time to be there if you're in the Austin area.
It's going to be fun, and I think JR said last night on Dynamite that it is sold out. So wow. I don't know the last time I've been in a sold-out wrestling crowd or sold-out anything crowd in a long time. I'll be wearing my luchador mask or my Vince McMahon mask, whatever suits the occasion best. You know, this is the first time I'd be around that many people. A little nervous. I might still keep my distance, but it's going to be exciting. And like you said, we'll see Malachi Black there. And I'll tell you what, Brandon, you have to, I've learned my lesson. I got to watch Dynamite live. Yes. These other shows, WWE, I can get away with, NXT, I can watch a replay, kind of catch up on YouTube. But this morning I was cramming for the show and I hadn't finished watching last night's Dynamite. And of course, I get spoiled. I see former Aleister Black, now Malachi Black,
On
made
social
his
media?
debut at AEW. And I'm so glad that the commentators didn't insult our intelligence like WWE would often do. They go, "Who's that guy? I have no idea." It's like, we knew who it was. A little confusing. I don't know. The commentators knew they're supposed to call him. But it was cool to see him. And of course, Aleister's wife made a shocking return to WWE as well. So power couple, doing good, land back on their feet.
Yeah, absolutely. Zelina Vega's there back at NXT. That's exciting.
Is her OnlyFans back though? I need to check.
I'm not so sure that might be back. I think Aleister might have shut that one down. If we start to lose connection, you'll know exactly why Dan Ciolano's over there doing some naughty things. But
I'm doing a Google image search for.
It's all journalism. Here. It's all journalism. Yeah. It's just research. But night one is set for Fyter Fest. Going to be an awesome one. Not only do you have this coffin match, but you also have Christian Cage and Matt Hardy. You got Jon Moxley in action. You got Brian Cage in action. Penelope Ford and Yuka Sakazaki. It's just gonna be a fun time. I'm like you. I don't know the last time I was in a sold out arena, but I will say this: I did go to the Texas Rangers game way back when, probably 4 weeks ago, and that was. I'm assuming double, if not triple, what we're going to be experiencing here in Cedar Park, because that was about 35 to 40,000 people. That's a ton. That was definitely a different experience. I'll be wearing my luchador mask as well, Dan. I know you and I will be there. I don't know where our seating arrangements are going to be for you and I. I know, being through media, you and I definitely don't know as much as I'm sure we'd like, but I know we're going to be there with the fans for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you to AEW for inviting us, of course, and it will not bias our opinion about the review of AEW.
Never.
Maybe just a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit. Yeah.
I don't know.
All I'm saying is if Vince is throwing SummerSlam press passes around our way, we might be a little in tune to be a little nicer. Who knows?
Who knows? So it's going to be fun. Looking forward to just having the experience, not going there as like a reviewer. And in fact, AEW invited us. They invited media, but they're not doing any interviews or any kind of media scrum or anything like that. So they just invited people just to show them.
Come enjoy Fyter Fest. That's basically what it is.
Now, Christian Cage versus Matt Hardy, that's going to get me right in the feels there, the emotions, because I was just thinking about that upcoming match. I was thinking about, I was there. We're going to get old man stories here. I was there, WrestleMania 2000, for that first triangle ladder match, and I was also there for WrestleMania X7 the following year in Houston for TLC 2. So seeing Christian Cage and Matt Hardy live in a ring together is going to bring back those old memories. Looking forward to that. Also looking forward to seeing newer guys to me, like Darby Allin. And a coffin match, man. That's scary stuff.
Yeah, am I confused here? I might be. Is Jon Moxley putting up the IWGP American title or something like that? Is that happening?
I believe so.
So that there is a little tie-in to New Japan, which I also very much like. Hopefully we get possibly some New Japan people making an appearance. Who knows? This Aleister Black, Malachi Black appearance happened at a perfect time, right? They've been promoting this Miami show right before Fyter Fest. I hope and I pray. Obviously, he went after Cody. I still think the script writes itself with him and possibly Miro, since Miro's, God's favorite wrestler, whatever the case. And then you have Malachi Black, who's this dark thing. I love to see that too. Cody. We're also going to get Hangman and Omega, it looks like, finally. There's just so much more exciting stuff on AEW than your typical wrestling programming.
Okay, but here's the part where I concern Troll. This has been my constant concern with AEW. Not a complaint, but just a concern. Something to kind of watch over.
Former WWE employees?
Exactly. I'm always worried that AEW will start looking like the plan B for WWE rejects. And that's no disrespect to anyone who gets fired from WWE or any disrespect to AEW. Because it's a good opportunity when they have a talented person like Black or, Miro, that Matt Hardy, Christian Cage, always people who become free Of course, AEW is going to want to pick him up, but I always think about the casual fan, the casual TV watcher who's been kind of casually watching wrestling over the last few years. Will they start seeing AEW as WCW? Kind of like, all right, this is where you go when you can't make it in the big leagues. And I think it's unfair, but and I'm not complaining. I'm just kind of worried about that because I don't think everybody should automatically go to WWE. I mean, everyone's like, okay, Lana, oh yeah, she's going to go to AEW. Well, maybe that's not good for her. Maybe WWE and the kind of this scripted sort of environment that WWE has that you and I and Mike always complain about, maybe that was more suited for Lana CJ Perry. Maybe she wouldn't really fit in at AEW. Maybe she should go pursue her acting career.
Yeah.
I don't know if is there acting degrees?
I'm sure there is.
I don't know anything about college. I never went to college. That's why I'm here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want everyone to think that every time someone gets released from WWE that, oh great, they're going to be on Dynamite next week, because I don't think everybody's going to be, and I don't think everybody should be.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also think though that when you have talent like Aleister Black, like Miro, like, maybe you can put in there Matt Hardy. Christian Cage was never signed to WWE. He was always just been a legend there. And so, of course, he makes appearances. But when you look at that, you look at, others that have appeared on Dynamite and, Moxley, stuff like that. You can't pass up on talent like that can push your brand even further. And I think to diehard wrestling fans, not even diehard, even if you're a casual wrestling fan that's watched the product for over a year, you probably liked watching Aleister Black. You probably liked watching Rusev. They're not picking up scrubs that They're not picking up people nobody can. Even Leo Rush. I mean, he had a huge following on social media. He's had a huge following throughout the independents. Those are people that wrestling fans and even maybe higher up casual viewers enjoy watching and want to see more of. So when you put them on a product and then you put them against, in my opinion, the best wrestling roster in the business right now, when you have, as far as how incredible matches can be, you have Kenny Omega, you have Cody Rhodes, you have the Young Bucks, you have Hangman Page, Yama. I mean, it's just the roof can be torn off with these guys. Now, my question to you is actually not even a question, just a statement. Did you know? Again, this is all hearsay. This is from the dirt sheets.
Oh, reliable.
But did you know Aleister Black did not get released too long ago, right?
Okay.
Usually there's not a 30-day anymore. What is it, Dan? It's a 90-day, right? Release form. Supposedly someone at WWE messed up and didn't change 30 to 90 days. And that's why Aleister Black was able to appear as early as he did.
He's like, it's in the contract, man.
It's in the contract. But I think that works in his favor. You're freshly out. Yeah, you're freshly out of WWE. You don't have time to simmer down. You still have that heat coming out of WWE.
Absolutely. And, that reminds me, I heard part of an interview recently with Lana CJ Perry on the Talk is Jericho podcast.
Okay.
And she talked about, getting her 90-day notice. And it was just kind of came out of nowhere. So I bet she wishes they had made a paperwork snafu that she can get out earlier. Now I assume that it's 90 days that you can't go to another wrestling company, not that you just can't appear in public or you can't be in a public.
Oh yeah,
probably
yeah.
Just a wrestling company. You don't have to just be holed up like a monk in your house like a hermit, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Don't give Vince any ideas. He'd do that.
Yeah, he'd absolutely
stay in your house.
You have to quarantine even after COVID is over. That's exactly how the 90-day clause goes. Now, also, Dan, in other news, I want to talk to you about this because you got to live it. I was just born with it. But
the Clinton administration?
No, not. I appreciate the guest, though. No, this is not Jeopardy. However, the NWO, Dan, 25 years since the NWO's founding. I mean, just to give you a little bit of background, Dan, how old were you July 7th, 1996?
July 7th, 1996, I had just turned 16 years old.
So Dan was 16. Brandon Medina was 8 months into my mother's belly. I was born August 10th. So the NWO was formed. I literally was born into the New World Order.
You were literally like semen 18 months earlier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was born into the NWO. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So how do you, when you look back at it, Dan, how game-changing was the New World Order as a whole?
I mean, it was hot because I remember just with coworkers at the time, people who watched wrestling casually. You can learn a lot about what's really hitting people when you talk to people who just kind of watch it casually. And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan, NWO, that's cool." See NWO shirts at the mall everywhere, all over the place.
Sweets, yeah.
I mean, to this day, 25 years later, the NWO shirt is one of the top selling shirts.
I was gonna say that. I read that they sell $100,000 plus every year, just straight that black and white NWO shirt.
NWO was so hot. Let me tell you, my friends and I were at a church retreat, and we called our youth group. We called it the NWO. And wore NWO shirts because that's how hot the damn angle was. It was exciting. Hulk Hogan needed to turn heel because he was starting to get booed. People were kind of sick of the red and yellow stuff. We were getting to the gritty 90s, the Howard Stern era, the ECW era. They wanted a harder Hulk Hogan. Phrasing, sorry. They wanted a more hard edge Hulk Hogan. Yeah. This is pre-racist rants on recordings, I should say, at least.
Yeah, at least on recordings.
On recordings. So it was just an exciting time to watch wrestling. And every time the NWO came out, they got a pop. I remember going to a WCW Thunder show. Oh, and I remember just waiting for the show to start. This is in Oakland, California. Waiting for the show to start, and they were just kind of playing random music. And they just played in the background the NWO music, and people popped. Just because the music, even though the show they knew they weren't coming out, but everybody freaked out. Now, unfortunately, NWO, I think, was part of the demise of WCW because it's not really good for your brand when the supposed bad guys are coming out on TV and they're asking the crowd, "Are you here for WCW?" And the crowd boos. Yeah. So people were booing WCW every week. Wasn't the most thought out thing, but it definitely revolutionized wrestling. It was a huge part of the Attitude Era. And I mean, 25 years. Can't believe it.
And there's been so many that have tried, right? You have D-Generation X who changed the game as far as WWE goes, right? You have them doing their own form. At the same time, though, I wouldn't say it was copycatting, but definitely their own form, a little bit more probably edgy and with more attitude. But also you have the Bullet Club almost 20 years later, changing the game in New Japan and doing things there that really just influenced the whole independent circuit and started with Finn Balor, AJ Styles. You had everybody from, Kenny Omega to the Young Bucks. I mean, everybody was in Bullet Club. It was the hottest thing, still is riding very high. But even in that era, Dan, at WCW, not only were they loved by the fans and loved by viewers, the NWO also had breakup sections of the NWO within the same company. I think that's where they lost it, because you had regular NWO, right? You had Hollywood, or whatever. You had Wolfpack. You had LWO, Latino World Order. I mean, there was just, what did you think about that mix up when it starts to break up into different sections of the company? That's where things got out of hand. Yeah,
too much of a good thing. And legitimately backstage, wrestlers wanted to be part of the NWO.
Yeah,
because it would be good for their career. Yep. And I remember there's always that famous, now infamous scene of like a NWO limo coming out, and like Big Show comes out, Paul White comes out, and Virgil, and all, like everybody, the whole fucking roster was out there. Everybody was an NWO. So that's when it got ridiculous. So I'm glad when WWE put NWO in the Hall of Fame, they didn't just put all 80 guys or whatever, because that would have been absurd. So
yeah, NWO became Wu-Tang Clan and just had a ton of members, which was awesome to see. But I mean, I have an LWO shirt, I have an NWO shirt. I don't have a Wolfpack one, but I mean, you get the gist. It really is revolutionary. 25 years later, we're still talking about it. 25 years later, people are still doing Too Sweet. People are still doing the Hulk Hogan walk, the little eagle walk. Kevin Nash. I mean, it's hard to put into words what they meant to the business, because not only did you have NWO, you had the outsiders first and foremost blow up the industry. And then you had the NWO come second, where we never got to see that with a John Cena character that followed up Hulk Hogan. So, I mean, awesome stuff. It's so great to look back on it. I think if there's anybody who deserves a 30 for 30 documentary on ESPN besides Ric Flair, we should do an NWO. And I'm sure there's a ton of drugs, money, and sex to be talked about in those documentaries, because those guys were wild back then.
I think so. And I think people try to recreate it, like, oh, we got to make this generation's NWO, and you talked about Bullet Club, things like that, but it's also the time and place of everything.
Yep.
You can't just make a new NWO or just make a new DX. And it's just like, I remember even with DX, when they tried to resurrect DX in the PG era, it was just Triple H and Shawn Michaels. It was more of just kind of goofy pranks and spray painting things and just like glow sticks. It just wasn't the same. It's got to be the right time and place. But man, 25 years of NWO, man, about the same age as Brandon Medina.
Yeah. Now,
too sweet.
The too sweet. Yeah. The other thing we got to talk about, Dan, is what did you think? Were you able to watch the NXT American Bash show? I mean, I know it's always on our radar, right? My thing is the show was great. Adam Cole's great, baby. But what I want to talk about, Dan, is they are still doing special sets for the NXT shows. They still do the specialty sets. Why are we not seeing that on the main roster like we used to?
I don't know, because the main roster, they like to just WWE main roster. They like to keep the imaging, the marketing, the look. They like to keep it very consistent. I think they want you to know you're watching the red brand, you're watching the blue brand. I don't know. They don't care. I don't know why. You're right. They used to do special stuff. Not anymore.
I mean, it's part of the pay-per-view experience, right? Don't you think? I mean, you look at the old Judgment days. You look at, New Year's Revolution, whatever, where they had like a dragon. You look at like just huge over-the-top stages. You only see that at WrestleMania. You might see that most times at Royal Rumble. I don't know if SummerSlam really does anything different. I don't think Survivor Series does much anything different, but there used to be every pay-per-view you watched, whether it was a huge one, whether it was a small one. I mean, they had a different stage, and that sets the tone. That sets the tone to be excited, because you're realizing I'm not watching a weekly show. I'm watching something very special about to take place, and I just don't feel like we have that anymore. Besides NXT, NXT does a great job of keeping that alive.
One person I was excited about seeing on NXT last night, Brave American Bash, was our friend Cameron Grimes.
Oh, yeah.
I know you and Cameron Grimes have a lot in common. He likes to own stocks that go to the moon. So
yes.
if you don't mind, I just want to check. I'm going to check real quick here. I know you've done some. This is not an endorsement of funds here, but I just want to see how you've been doing here. Let's look at it. Oh, let's see. You got that Dogecoin, Brandon. You thought it looks like it's down 33.83% in the past month, Brandon. I thought you were going to go to the moon.
We thought
with Cameron Grimes, but apparently it's not going to be.
No, me and Cameron Grimes are very much staying on Earth. We're not going. We're not going anywhere. However,
sorry about that Dogecoin there.
Sorry about that Dogecoin. It's all right. We'll be back. Send Dogecoin to the moon. But yeah, Cameron Grimes is great. I was happy to see Kyle O'Reilly really get a one-on-one match with Adam Cole. I think he's a special talent. That's another guy that, if he was to ever leave, which I don't think he ever does, but if he was to ever go somewhere, that's what I mean, is that caliber of talent, he might not show up on AEW, but that'd be a perfect guy to push, Ring of Honor, to push Impact Wrestling, to push something like that.
I believe so. And I think, NXT, I feel bad because it's a solid show. It's not as exciting as AEW Dynamite, but it's a solid show every week. And
I forget it's on Tuesdays. It's on Tuesdays.
If you forget what night of the week it's on, that's not good. But it just doesn't have the feeling of that's the show I don't want to miss. Like I was saying earlier, with AEW Dynamite, I get spoilers all the time because I don't watch it live. I got to watch a damn show live.
Yeah.
But it's very rare that when I don't watch NXT live that I miss something and I go, oh crap, I got spoiled. I mean, I can kind of skim through and not see anything that I go, damn, I wish I would have seen that live. Yeah. Rarely with WWE products. I mean, maybe on SmackDown when Zelina Vega debuted or did her surprise return, I wish I had seen that live. But AEW is the show that you just feel like you can't miss because you're going to miss something. It has this gritty feel to it. It has this very spontaneous feel. And NXT, no matter what, even though it's a lot better than the main roster very often, doesn't have that gritty, sort of spontaneous, anything that can happen feel. And I think that's where NXT fails compared to AEW.
Yeah, I agree. I can't agree more. I think NXT has an exciting factor, but you're not gonna miss like you said, if you're watching programming, just wrestling programming, AEW is the one to watch. We've been saying this for over a year. I mean, probably 2 years. We've been saying this. If you're gonna watch anything, watch AEW. Now, when it comes to the social media aspect, realistically, Dan, what would you miss on WWE? It's the same recycled matches, the same recycled storylines. There's nothing you wouldn't. And even if you did miss something, right? The pop that you're going to give at home is the same pop you're going to give it on social media. Like, it's not going to be this huge, oh my God, I can't. I mean, if Brock Lesnar returned tomorrow, that might be something like, man, I wish I would have watched that live. But even then, it's just Brock Lesnar. We've seen him off and on for years. This is not a new face to the company, someone coming back. Now, where the biggest pop of the year might be at Survivor Series. I know we continue to hear stuff about possibly The Rock and Roman, like we've been hearing for 3 years. That's something you want to watch live. When it comes to AEW, that pop that you get with maybe not The Rock level, but that pop, that excitement you feel of seeing a new face arrive, you get that almost weekly, if not bi-weekly at AEW. They keep that exciting factor, whether it's a new face or just an insane move, an insane match, whatever the case.
Well, think about it. Last night on AEW Dynamite, think about when Malachi Black came out. It was during a random ass interview with Arn Anderson. People were probably in the bathroom. So, like, oh my God, what's going to happen?
Keeps you on your toes. Yeah.
It keeps you on your toes. So you never like zoom out. You never go, nothing's going to happen. When I watch WWE and SmackDown, I can have it on in the background and I'll pay attention to something exciting happens, but I don't feel like, damn, I'm going to miss something. Could you imagine, Brandon? I'm not sure if you were watching live back when last year when Sting made his surprise debut in AEW.
I was. Yeah.
Okay. I was too. I would have been so pissed if I had just seen it on YouTube the next day or something like that, or seen it on just my Google search or Facebook feed. I'm so glad to see it live, but WWE doesn't have those moments. And I think Vince McMahon and the WWE creative team are going to be in for a rude awakening once they start going on tour. Because for the last year and a half, they've been the voodoo dolls. They've been the marionettes. Those are different things. I'm sorry. That's very culturally insensitive. They've been the marionettes, puppet masters
the voodoo
of
dolls.
The audience.
Okay.
I was one time in the Thunderdome. You got a guy in your ear telling you what to cheer for, who to boo. And I think once they start getting in front of crowds, the crowds are going to cheer for whoever they want. They're going to boo whoever they want, no matter what creative wants. And the worst thing of all is a lot of those crowds are going to be quiet. I think they'll be really excited to be there for the first 20 minutes, but then they'll go, "Oh yeah, we're watching Monday Night Raw." Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough one to watch.
And let's be honest, Monday Night Raw is coming to San Antonio in August. If we get free tickets, we'll go. If we have another wrestler to come on from WWE to promote the thing, we'll be nice, we'll be polite, we'll be excited to talk to them. But shit, like you and I ain't paying nothing to go to Monday Night Raw.
No. Now, that's not a diss nor disrespect to WWE as a company or the wrestlers as a whole.
Kind of is. I mean, not to the wrestlers, but to the company, to the creative.
Yeah, sure, creative. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not going to be paying to go to Monday Night Raw. I think most fans, if you look at social media, it's not a surprise. Most fans would have rather had SmackDown come to the city. Now you look at Monday Night Raw. Is there exciting stuff happening? Sure. I mean, we're right. When they come, we'll be smack dab full on SummerSlam season. You know what I mean? So that's an exciting moment. What if you get to catch a glimpse of a return, right? Maybe it's a Brock Lesnar. Maybe it's a Becky Lynch. Maybe it's somebody of that nature. This is when it's going to happen. So that's the exciting factor. But if it doesn't, you're going to go and you're going to leave thinking, that was it. You know what I mean? Like, every time you watch Monday Night Raw, if you even watch Monday Night Raw, if you can sit there, we've talked about it many a time, Dan. 3 hours just is too long for a product like that. It is just too rough to watch.
Right.
The first hour, you're tuned in, you're ready to roll, and they give you these matches that like nobody really is looking forward to. I think you have to come out hot fast the way that AEW does. They go really top heavy, then some good in between matches, and then a huge ending. You need to have some excitement. And right now, that excitement's all on SmackDown and NXT. Monday Night Raw needs help, but we've been saying it for months. So is social media. you would just think as somebody in creative, you have to be in tune with what your audience likes and thinks and understands. And when you're letting go of people left and right and you're making these creative decisions that clearly are not working, you have to start to think as a fan, are they really caring about the product, or is this just for, revenue period?
Now, Brandon, you make me want to go back and look at our interview from Drew McIntyre from a few weeks ago. I'm going to look closely at his eyes to see if he was blinking in Morse code, trying to tell us that he wants to escape. Help me. Maybe he was.
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe he's like, he's like, get me out of here.
Maybe. I think he was in Morse code. I think he was saying SmackDown. Like, I think he was asking for
transfer me.
Exactly. Because also, Dan, this is around the time, I know we haven't heard much about it. Is there going to be a draft? Are we going to do a draft this year, like a WWE draft that we've done in the past? I haven't heard anything about it.
Selfishly, I hope there is a draft, because every time there is a draft, WWE pushes it really hard, and they
it's kind of exciting.
They ask us to interview someone, so usually we'll get an email from the PR department if there's a draft. But in terms of watching as a viewer, it's like, who cares? I never cared about the draft, and I never even remember who's on what show. And then 2 weeks later, whenever there's a draft, like 2 weeks later, someone will just go to the other show, and it's like,
ship,
oh my God, what are they doing here? And it was especially ridiculous during the quarantine time, because it was all the same damn building. So it's like, it's not a big deal. They all work in the same place, just on different days. It's like when your coworker comes to work on a day that you usually don't see them, you don't go, oh my God, this is shocking. You go, oh, I guess they're just here today. Not a big deal.
Just welcome to work. Yeah.
Exactly. That's how workplaces work.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I do enjoy the draft. But then again, you got to realize I enjoy, the NBA drafts, the NFL drafts. This one has a cool twist in it where, whatever brand wins a match gets a draft pick, and it's randomized. Sometimes, if not, they make a choice. It's exciting, but you're right. After 3 weeks of it, they jump ship anyways to the other brand if it's not doing well.
I'm guessing if they do a draft, it'll be around fall time, because they want to get it ready for Survivor Series, and then everyone will pretend like they're fighting for brand supremacy for the brand that they just been working at for 2 weeks. Apparently, they hate the other show already.
Yes,
it's for some reason, and then afterwards, nobody cares anymore. It's just it's absurd.
I have no idea, man. All I know is I am very much excited for Fyter Fest next Wednesday. Yep. That's going to be huge. Austin, Texas has shown out as a sports city as far as, in Major League Soccer and other stuff like that. I'm excited to see what Cedar Park has for AEW, especially with it being the first show back in Texas, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's huge.
First show back in Texas, and WWE's doing a show. I think their first back in Texas is in like 2 weeks, week and a half, in SmackDown
Fort Worth
in Houston.
Oh, no, Houston. And then you have,
I think Money in the Bank is going to be in Fort Worth. I think the SmackDown in Houston, maybe the SmackDown, the go home show for Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
right around the same time.
I'll be in Houston. I'll be in Fort Worth the day before Money in the Bank, and I thought about it. I thought about going, and I was like, just not gonna do it, man. It's a 4.5 hour drive back home. I'm gonna be there for a wedding, so most likely I'll be pretty hungover anyways the day after. There's no need for me to be at Money in the Bank. I need to go save my money in the bank.
You can watch it in the hotel room.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
I can keep the streak alive.
Yeah, keep the streak of not paying for pay-per-views, the greatest streak in the history of wrestling.
But here we are paying for Peacock TV, which absolutely sucks, just so everybody knows. It's the worst. I don't know why WWE did this to us. I can't stand it.
It's bad. It's bad. You know what? I hate that you can't on Peacock TV.
You can't pause it. You always say that.
You can't pause it. It's frustrating.
You love saying that. You love bringing up that you can't pause on Peacock TV. Why don't you just sit there and watch it
around? Because I'm paying for the damn service. I'm paying for the damn service. So I don't want to feel like I have to make an appointment to be home. I want to feel like if I'm out somewhere, I'm doing whatever, I can just catch up later that night, be a half hour behind, whatever. But no, I got to be on their schedule.
Oh my goodness! So you can't replay. You can't replay.
You can replay it after the whole thing's over, but you can't start how every other streaming service, it's when something's live, it's like, do you want to start from live or do you want to start from the beginning? They don't let you do that on Peacock.
Yeah, they're like, no. We're already going, Dan.
They block you from do that. They block you.
They Peacock block you?
They Peacock block you. Yes,
there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
That silver platter for that joke. Here we go. Here it comes. Silver platter. That's good times.
It is good times. But yeah,
Peacock block.
Peacock blocking needs to stop, obviously, especially with SummerSlam around the way. Now that it's already in summertime, Dan, SummerSlam is right around the corner. We're assuming they're bringing back what, Brock Lesnar. I mean, it's probably going to be Andrew Hernandez said Dazed and Confused is on Peacock. That helps. Listen, I agree. Dazed and Confused is great. It's a great movie. There's a lot of
got to be stoned to enjoy Peacock Network.
Yeah, one day I walked in the living room. My fiance was watching Bring It On Peacock, and I was like, "Okay, Peacock, you're starting to step your game up a little bit over here with the movies, but just add a pause button for Dan Cialana.
Snakes
please.
on a Plane's on Peacock.
Is it? Wow. Yeah. Okay, Peacock, out here making moves for us. It's cheaper than the WWE Network, but listen, you get what you pay for, right, Dan? That's the name of the game. You get what you pay for. But so with SummerSlam, Dan, are you excited for SummerSlam? That's the question. We're only like a month out. So
yeah, I always enjoy SummerSlam. That's one pay-per-view I've never had a chance to go to. I definitely wouldn't go this year to Las Vegas because I don't want to deal with that mess.
I'll be in Las Vegas tomorrow for the Conor McGregor fight on Saturday.
You're flying everywhere.
So I'll be there. Double.
You're covering that for ESPN San Antonio, I assume?
Yes, I am. I'll be there.
Looking forward to that coverage.
I'll be asking Conor if he wants to go one-on-one with Brock in the WWE ring in the future. We'll see what happens. What a boatload of money Conor would bring to the product. Oh my God.
I think so.
100% him.
You want to borrow my ESPN banner? I'll just I'll mail it to you over there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, please mail it to the Little Whitechapel, whatever. Or I'm gonna take my fiance to go get married, possibly. Just who knows? We'll see.
The drive-through tunnel of love, like Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
Yes.
And to make it more authentic, to have the whole experience, you need to drug her first, because that's
WWE at its best.
That's good
baby.
storylines. Yeah.
Yes. So SummerSlam. You're excited for it. Are you lying? Because it sounds like you're bullshitting me.
No, I'll watch it.
1 second.
I always like SummerSlam.
Dan,
I can't think of a SummerSlam where I was like, this sucks.
Dan, that's not what I asked. I understand you'll watch it. Everybody's going to watch it. Are you excited for it?
Well, I don't know any of the matches yet. I mean,
I understand, but do you think the build-up
I'm not excited.
I
will. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be just lovely. SummerSlam will be just lovely. It'll be fine. It'll be adequate. I will be sports entertained.
There we go. Sports entertained at its best. Because after SummerSlam, you got All Out for AEW. Possibly
Chicago? Is that the one?
Yep. Possibly.
You going to go to that? Chicago? You fly out there?
Possibly some CM Punk action, Dan?
No. See, every time.
Dan,
God.
You have to buy into the rumors sometimes. Just make it fun.
My God. Every time a wrestler farts within 100 miles of Chicago, people are like, is CM Punk going to show up? Is CM Punk going to be there?
Depends how.
I don't know why I'm calling him CM Pump. CM Punk.
Yeah, listen, calm it down over there.
Yeah, day drinking. We usually don't do the stream this early.
Yeah, you're right.
Got me my day drinking time.
I caught you in a little buzz. My apologies.
Little buzz. No, CM Punk won't be there. I mean, what's he gonna eat? I don't think he even wants to wrestle. Everyone's like, when's he coming back?
If the money's right, Dan.
I know, but
come on.
I'm just afraid if CM Punk, if they give him a boatload of cash, Tony Khan says, here's a boatload of freaking cash. I'm afraid CM Punk will come back and he's not really in ring shape and he'll do a bad match and everybody will be sad. I don't want to see that. I frankly think CM Punk's done. I don't think he wants to do it. He hasn't shown any interest in wrestling. I don't know of any rumors of him working out with anybody or anything like that. I think he's done. I think he's just not into it. He enjoyed parts of his career. I think he just wants to do different stuff.
If he's done for real, what a documentary that's going to be on top of the world just for like 6 years and then say, no, I'm good. I'm over it. That's wild.
That's freedom right there.
That really is
freedom. And that's so, and he can come off as an arrogant guy or whatever, but think about it. There's other guys who are not as good as CM Punk, whose egos will not let them be out of the spotlight.
Yes.
I'm looking at you, Hulk Hogan. And it doesn't matter. They want to be in the spotlight. They can't just let it go. They can't just retire and live a quiet life. So I respect CM Punk to say, you know what? I had a good run. It was a relatively short run, but I had a good run. And I don't need it. Maybe I'll come back and wrestle someday, but I don't have to. His ego doesn't make him go, I need to be in the ring. I need to be in front of that crowd. It seems like he's got a quiet life with his wife. His wife, AJ Lee, doesn't seem like she's really interested in wrestling either. She retired. She's just doing her own thing, but with mental health advocacy. I think they've kind of just moved on. I think they just want to be regular people. Just a quiet life.
And that's what I'm saying. What an incredible story. I mean, you look at a guy that came out of Ring of Honor, right? Came into ECW, absolutely tore it up. and then just blew up the sports entertainment industry. I mean, we're going to be talking about CM Punk 25 years from now the same way we are about NWO. And to think of the run he had, it wasn't Shawn Michaels-esque, it wasn't Triple H-esque, it wasn't John, it was literally 6, maybe 7 tops, really, really on top good years. And he's going to be, I mean, a first ballot Hall of Famer for WWE. And that's kind of crazy to think.
Looking forward to that speech.
That's what I'm saying. If he's done for real, I mean, what a story to tell. At least I would like to see him back. I'm going to believe in the rumors and innuendo simply because I want to be excited for this stuff. Dan, don't be a buzzkill, Dan. You didn't believe in Edge when I believed in Edge. Just so we're clear.
I'll be honest. And every time there's a Royal Rumble, a little part of me, a little part.
Look at this, Dan. Be honest though.
A little tiny part of me. Well, there's a lot of little tiny parts of me, but another little tiny part of me wants CM Punk to come out. I'll be honest. But I only want him to return if he really wants to. I don't want him to be just like financially desolate and go, oh crap, I guess I got to go back to wrestling. Like I don't want him to do it because he's bored or because he wants to be in the spotlight. I want him to only come back if his love for wrestling has been rekindled. I want him to do it for him and not just because he feels like he has to. Because I always feel bad for anyone in any job who's doing the job simply because they have to. Because they need the money. I mean, I'll be real honest here. I won't get real specific, but I recently quit a job, a work situation that wasn't good for me anymore, and I didn't need the money. And it'd be sad if I was just still there just because I need the money. Yeah. So, I mean,
I hear you.
I'm glad for CM Punk.
Fair enough. But we have SummerSlam on the way. We have Fyter Fest next week. Day 1 is solidified. We know what's going to happen day 1 over there in Cedar Park. Where's day 2 going to be?
Elsewhere.
Elsewhere. I have no idea where day 2 is going to be, but day 2 is probably going to see, I'd assume, the first match of Malachi Black, right? That'd probably be the first legitimate match that we're going to see between him and possibly Cody Rhodes, which is, man, they got a good one on their hands if that's the case. But for Austin, Texas, over there in Cedar Park, Texas, right outside of Austin, be prepared because next Wednesday you have a solid lineup of matches. You have Brian Cage, Ricky Stark, Ethan Page, Darby Allin, John Moxley, and Carl Anderson, Christian Cage, Matt Hardy, and Penelope Ford and Yuka Sakazaki. And in this coffin match, Dan, we already know Darby Allin's an absolute lunatic. He's a psychopath. A coffin match is picture perfect for a guy like that.
It's going to be great. Who knows what kind of crazy things he's going to do in front of that crowd. Man, big, loud Texas crowd. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. And Dan Cialana and I will both be there. If you see us, come say hello. Buy us a beer. If you'd like, we'll definitely take it. No problem. And maybe we'll buy you one right back. But have a good time with us. Be safe out there. If you do go, we're going to be a sold-out crowd, right, Dan Cialana?
Sold out.
Ooh, you better be vaxxed or wear your mask, people. Come on now. But go enjoy some wrestling. Go support local wrestling. Dan Cialana, before we go, big news. It sounds like we're going to be back in studio here not too far into the future.
Yeah, our show has kind of changed formats over the last few months with some studio changes and other changes, personal changes. But it seems that on August 19th, at least, the Thursday before SummerSlam, we will be live in studio and on the radio discussing the upcoming SummerSlam and also discussing Mission Pro Wrestling, doing a very special show, charity show for Salvation Army in San Antonio. So that'll be you never know who might show up to that. You never know.
You never know. Or you might if you know Dan Cialana's biggest
crushes. You might know.
But
you might know. Just don't be wearing a Dr. Britt Baker shirt on that night.
Yes, please don't. Because
I think things might go bad.
Yeah, you're going to get your face smashed in. But be forward to looking out for that. That's going to be August 19th. We'll see you guys at Cedar Park next week. We'll see you hopefully at SummerSlam. We'll be talking all that and more next time, making sure we keep you guys up to date on all the best news within the squared circle of wrestling. I'm Brandon Medina. That is Dan Cialana. This is Down for the Count. And that's the bottom line because Down for the Count
said so.